Okay, we're good to go, Tony.
All right, thank you. All right, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Hammond Redevelopment Commission meeting to order on this Tuesday, October 6th, 2020. It is now 4:30. The meeting will begin. If Commissioner Myricks, could you just lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Can we get a roll call on our tonight's meeting for the commissioners?
Merrick,
Here.
Soto Presley, Kasperzicki,
Here.
Myrick,
Here,
Helpridge.
Here. For the record, we have 4 present with 1 absent. All right, number 3, a declaration of conflict of interest. Okay. Number 4, communications. There's one in my packet. I guess I'll just read it. It's kind of brief. To the Redevelopment Commission, gentleman named by Dan Spear, I'm interested in the property at 2040 Sherman Street. My family lives next to the property at 2038 Sherman Street in Hammond. I'm wondering when the property will be available for sale. Please contact me. You know, he's got his cell phone and home phone numbers listed. danspear@gmail.com is email address. So I guess we'll just refer this to staff. If Africa and your team could look into it and see if this property can be available.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no action needed, so just a communication. All right, thank you. Number 5 is our homebound conditional forgivable loan. Looks like we might have 3 applicants.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to accept the conditional forgivable loan approval for David Ramirez, which is a fireman, 7705 Chestnut Avenue. Rita Jimenez and Alexander Lara, 4223 Henry Avenue, and Eric Aguilar, 6728 Missouri Avenue.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. That's for the homebound conditional forgivable loan approval. Let's get a roll call, please.
Myrick,
Yes,
Soto Presley, Merrick,
Yes.
Kasperzicki,
Yes.
Helpridge.
Yes, motion passes 4 yes. All right. Number 6 is a determination of compliance for Phantom Fireworks showroom at 7944 Cabela Drive with economic development plan for the Woodmark Gateway Economic Development Area.
Shall I proceed? I'm sorry. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. I think, am I audible to everyone? Just a show of hands? Yes, okay. I'm Scott Yaney, and I'm with you today on behalf of Phantom Fireworks Showrooms, LLC. We're very thankful for this opportunity. As you'll see from the packet, I think all of you have a packet that I submitted in hard copy form for distribution to you all last week. Thank you, Greg. You'll see that we had a date of March 27 on that initial letter. That was the date on my submission materials of when we tried to get before you and the world went crazy. So we waited a long time to get to this day, and so we're very anxious to go forward and present this project. Actually, Phantom started working with the city dating back to, at least my knowledge, before I was involved in August of 2019. And since that time, there has been a land purchase and a big investment of time, resources, and money. So today is a very important day for me and these folks. And we're quite thankful for being afforded the opportunity to move forward. I'm not alone here today on behalf of this submission. I have a number of folks that you can kind of see on the screen, but you'll see William Weimer. He is general counsel for Phantom. You'll see Robin Galito. Boy, sorry, Robin. Robin will help me with part of this submission and giving you all some information to consider. Joseph Cordupo, and Joseph is the Director of Construction and Engineering. Tony Jablonski, who I'm getting to meet here today. He's been delightful. He's the Director of Real Estate Development. Steve Kudwa, we see, not Steve, but I see he's connected to us. He's from Naki Engineering, has done a lot of engineering work on this project. And I know a lot of you folks. I'm Scott Ying. We have a materials before you today, and I'd like to kind of go through that so we all know where we are. Phantom purchased the real estate at 7944 Cabela Drive. So this is within the Cabela's Woodmar real estate development. You'll see that and in your materials that we have described the property location, but it's right on the corner of Cabela Drive leading into the development. Phantom would like to develop, build, and operate a premier top of the market consumer fireworks retail operation. And we're going to tell you about that. We've presented engineering, site plans, architectural renderings, and a number of technical drawings, including an ALTA survey, so that you can all consider this project. At the end of this presentation, we're going to seek a determination from you all that development of what we refer to as Phantom Fireworks Hammond is compliant with and furthers the objectives of the economic development plan for the Woodmar Gateway Economic Development Area. And ultimately, that is what we need to convince you all of today. And that is our shared mandate for considering this project. This will be an entirely new construction for Phantom Fireworks. This will replace, as you all are probably aware, there's a Phantom Fireworks showroom about 1 mile south on Indianapolis Boulevard in Highland. These folks have outgrown that facility. You'll hear from Robin momentarily. She's going to kind of give you an idea of the scope and breadth of this company, which is a national company that is a destination. And she'll talk to you and how in many respects it is akin to what we see from Cabela's. And it's not without coincidence that Phantom often shares footprints with Cabela's and Walmart. And so we'll talk to you a little bit about that. Phantom has been in the Highland location since 2007. And if you all are familiar, it's surrounded by retail businesses, restaurants, and residential apartments in close proximity. They've operated at that location since 2007. And for the past 13 years, those operations have not given rise to any community or safety issues. In fact, you're going to learn that Phantom is definitely a positive contributor to any community that it joins. Unlike almost all other consumer fireworks stores, if you're going to purchase fireworks at a Phantom store, customer must provide first proper identification and then register. This is to make sure that these products, fireworks products, are safely used. none of these products or none of the fireworks products are going to be lit or set off on site or anywhere near this store. It is very important to Phantom that its customers understand the safety requirements associated with the products. And so toward that end, every aisle in the store provides a supply of safety cards for that type of product. Safety tips printed on the shopping bags, stapled to customer receipts. These are very well ordered and organized stores. They will staff the project or the store with local police officers. There are in-store and overnight security provided during peak sales periods. The company is absolutely committed to safety. I think now I will turn it over to Robin to kind of help give you a sense of what Phantom is, how they developed, and their devotion to safety throughout the industry as a leader in the country. And you'll see this is not a billboard fireworks stand. It's far from it. This is something that is an operation that shows up at Disney, the Hollywood Bowl. These are folks that are very serious about what they're doing, and they approach it with that perspective. So maybe I'll turn it over to Robin to help give us a little more background.
Okay, thank you, Scott. I hope everyone can hear me clearly. As Scott said, I'm Robin Galito. I am one of the attorneys, in-house counsel for Phantom Fireworks. And there's a Phantom Fireworks like family of companies, we call it. And not only is there a family of companies, but this is truly a family company in those true words. This company was started by our CEO, Bruce Zolden, in about 1977, back when fireworks laws were in their infancy, if anything. Mr. Zolden and his wife and family work at the company. Other family members work at the company. We're all part of a team. We call it the Phantom family. And we all have a team of dedicated people that work in many different divisions. And a lot of the departments, as you saw here, are involved in getting these types of new stores started and built. For those of you that don't know, Phantom is the largest brick and mortar consumer fireworks operation in the US. So we have last season, we go by seasons, in 2020, about 80 brick and mortar showrooms, which this would be one of course. We also have investments in time, energy, money, fireworks exposure in putting up temporary locations, which this would not be. This would be a brick and mortar. And then other divisions of Phantom Fireworks also are involved in wholesale sales and distribution to like big box stores, Menards, chain stores, and those types of things. So our brand is nationwide, and we're eager to expand it in the Hammond area. So Phantom participates in national, state, local organizations on different levels, on business levels and on safety levels. So I'm going to just tell you about a few of the safety organizations that we participate in, and we are integral members of too, and some of them charter members. So the first one is called the American Fireworks Standards Laboratory. And that organization tests all the fireworks products that are made in China. And they test in compliance or in excess of the standards required by the US Consumer Product Safety Commission. So the AFSL, the American Fireworks Standards Laboratory, works with the factories right in China to improve quality control. Items are tested there, and if they don't pass, they won't get shipped. That organization was founded back in 1989, and Phantom Fireworks is a founding member of the American Fireworks Standards Laboratory. as are other consumer fireworks companies, they're members also. And they've all agreed to participate in this testing to make sure we have the highest level of testing. So since that organization started, there has been a Phantom Fireworks team member on that board. So we've been part of that organization since its inception also. And in fact, 2 Phantom Fireworks team members have served as even presidents of the AFSL. So we're very proud of that because that's a very objective and well-respected agency. When we go to conventions, the AFSL members deal directly and know the Consumer Product Safety Commission people from the US government, and there's a very good working relationship with them. Another organization that we are a part of is called the American Pyrotechnics Association, or for short, the APA. And that's any major consumer fireworks company, and also then the display fireworks companies that Scott kind of mentioned, Disney, those types of companies that do the professional fireworks displays. They're members of this organization too. Now, this organization, its mission is more to encourage safety, design, proper use, supports the fireworks industry, promotes responsible regulation, is frequently involved in any legislative changes. So they really have their ear to the ground, and they also work with legislators, and it's more on a national level. And for 30 years, right around 30 years, Phantom, there has been a Phantom team member also, a Phantom representative on the APA board. So we have been involved with on the board and then on the various committees. As I said, the APA works on safety and regulatory issues, and we interact with other companies that you may have heard of, some consumer fireworks companies like Black Cat, and then other display companies that have many of the same interests, Fireworks by Grucci, Melrose Pyrotechnics, if you've heard of them, Pyro Spectacular, all the Walt Disney companies, and even the NFL, because they do fireworks. So those are other agencies or organizations that also are a member of APA. So you can see it's a pretty well-versed, well-rounded, diverse group of people that are interested in fireworks safety and regulation. And then an arm of kind of the APA, the nonprofit division, is called the American Pyrotechnics Safety and Education Foundation. And that organization specifically promotes the safe use of fireworks, and much of its efforts are directed towards schools and even younger people. And we have had, again, Phantom Fireworks team members that have been on the board, and even a member has served as the president of this foundation. We've spearheaded novel ideas to fund this that we came up with, and successfully raised funds for that. So we're very instrumental when someone takes interest in getting on a board like that. They're going to really put a lot of effort into it. One last organization I'll point out that's devoted to safety that we're a member of is called the National Fire Protection Association. That's a general organization. It writes national fire codes, and part of that code, the standards that are arrived at by a consensus of members, deals with consumer fireworks. And Indiana, as you know, probably does follow the National Fire Protection Association, the NFPA, and the standard is called 1124. That's the chapter. And that's the chapter that regulates sale and storage of consumer fireworks. So we follow that. And we're very familiar with it because we've had members serve on the technical committee for over 20 years. And that technical committee writes the standard and writes the codes for 124, section 124 regarding consumer fireworks. So we're very versed in that. Our engineer has to follow that. Legal department is familiar with it. So we're very familiar with that. And then in addition to these like safety organizations, we are members of other trade organizations like National Fireworks Association, Pyrotechnics Guild International, Indiana Fireworks Dealers Association, Missouri Fireworks Association, the Ohio State Pyrotechnic Association, Pennsylvania Pyrotechnics Association, Fireworks Association of South Carolina, and almost every other fireworks association where we do business. So those are, because we're in our showrooms, we're in 15 states, at least 15 of those. Then in addition to the safety organizations, we're also members of things like the Chamber of Commerce, in the local jurisdiction, participants in the Better Business Bureau, and those types of organizations where Phantom operates. So now that you see the organizations that we're part of, I can tell you, and Scott hinted at a few of these, how we handle safety, and we take it very, very seriously. Phantom believes that the only good fireworks experience is a safe one. And to promote these safe use of consumer fireworks, we take many of the steps that Scott has mentioned that some people either take for granted or maybe they don't follow. But we have a lot of interaction with our customers as far as safety. As Scott said, we hand out safety flyers. They're both in English and in Spanish to our customers at the checkout. So everyone sees safety tips on there. Scott mentioned how every aisle has cards, laminated cards for that particular product. So whatever category of product that is, there's a safety card that people can take out of the holder and take it with them. And it has pictures and text on it to show how to safely use, for instance, a fountain, or safely use a sparkler. And it has all the different types of products on that. We have safety tips printed on the bags, on the shopping bags. We have a display table inside each showroom, and it actually has items on the safety table. It'll show things, so we believe people, if they see things, they're more apt to recall it and hopefully use it. Safety goggles, fire extinguishers, a garden hose, lighting devices like punk or a butane extended lighter, safety gloves, those types of things. So those products are displayed on a table, so people see a safety table too. Then when people are home or on their phone, they can always visit our easily remembered popular website, www.fireworks.com, which is very easy. If you search fireworks, hopefully that's one of the first hits that would come up for you to visit. We have all kind of educational videos. We have Fireworks University. We have the Safety and Education tab right on our website. We have how to use consumer fireworks safely, and those videos are on the website. So there's substantial safety information we believe that's available to people, and we frequently refer people to that. And I personally have been in a showroom, I've helped people shop for fireworks, and I've handed them safety cards and I've explained things to them, and everyone is always very appreciative that we give extra customer service and take a lot of interest in that. So we embark on a very wide-ranging public relations campaign for safety to make sure we get the message out. We've run PSAs. If jurisdictions have ever had questions or they've asked us to, emphasize something, we work with jurisdictions to help address whatever their concern would be. If they we've had people talk about, we've had campaigns talking about pets, or whatever the jurisdiction would want us to emphasize. If there's something we can do to help and make sure our message gets across more clearly, we always interact with all public officials or whoever is requesting this. So besides safety, another one of our kind of enhancements we have is insurance. So we have an insurance program that gives coverage through companies with the best rating of A or better. Okay, and Phantom carries $10 million of general and product liability insurance. And we would name the city of Hammond as an additional named insured. So that would give then some extra coverage to the city. And that's a typical move that we do to include a jurisdiction under our insurance. So that's a benefit too, and I think that helps. So besides safety and insurance, we also take a lot of pride and enjoy community involvement. And as we did in Highland and in other locations, we would participate in community and civic and business related activities and organizations and try to be a good corporate citizen and interact with the city of Hammond. People have come to us and asked us to, can we utilize the parking lot for something? We've had activities with, in one jurisdiction, a Boy Scout troop wanted to use a trunk or treat in the parking lot, that we were happy to have them. And look forward to working in Hammond and participating and being a productive member of the Hammond community at this location. We're very excited about it. We think it could be one of our flagship stores in a first-class location. As Scott said, it's a destination. Families frequently come and shop and look forward to every year bringing their families. We've had generations of people that come and shop and they return, and we're always happy to serve them. So we look forward to being in Hammond.
Hey, Robin, before you step out, you have locations elsewhere in the United States at centers with Walmart and Cabela's and Bass Pro Shops. Is that right?
We do. Uh-huh.
And you found your experience, they welcomed you in those locations, and they're obviously aware that you'd like to start the location in Hammond, right?
That's right. Yep. We share sometimes customers. When people come in, it's the synergy of the plaza that we're in frequently benefits other merchants too. So it's a win-win. It generates more sales tax. People may be more often more apt to come and stay than they stop, and then they have dinner and they make an outing out of it. So sure.
Okay. And as you folks are aware, I've had a number of projects in the Cabela's footprint, and there are challenges of which I have been aware throughout this process of selling and developing those lots. Both Cabela's, Bass Pro Shops, and Walmart, they have covenants in place that are very restrictive and restrict what can go into those locations. You can't open up a number of stores because those stores would be competitive with what is offered in those locations. So it becomes difficult we've seen the history of the development. It's been a great development, but I know we all, have been in this community. We'd like to see it develop faster than it has. And one of the challenges is finding a use that's compatible with Walmart and Cabela's. And they've determined that Phantom meets that requirement for them. And in fact, they've been a good partner in other locations throughout the United States, because Phantom is all over the country. And as Robin said, and I've learned, that this really is a family destination. One of the, before we got to this point, Phantom doesn't enter this process willy-nilly, right? They send out, you see all the folks that are assembled on this call. We've got engineers, we've got architects. Mr. Jablonski, I presume, found this real estate. Robin and Bill, they experienced this in communities across the country. They do a lot of research before they pick a location. They've looked very carefully at Hammond and what will be the requirements. This property is in the Woodmark Planning District, which is the 5th planning district. It's a C4 commercial district. And if we look through the zoning, because that's one of the things that you all have to consider is, hey, can these folks actually develop the site as they contemplate? And so they have to look very carefully. Hey, do we comply with Hammond's zoning ordinance? And in fact, we do. The zoning ordinance we've looked at very carefully to determine that, in fact, and I think you'll see up on the screen, and if not, it's in my materials, the requirements of Section 19, that we in fact meet those requirements. And that's very, very important for us. And so they've done the hard work to determine that, in fact, that's what we need to accomplish, is that we have not, we're not getting into a location where we can't get out or not, or would be unable to develop this property. And toward that end, you've seen all the drawings before you and what we've put before you. This project is not a small project. The land acquisition itself was substantial, but above and beyond the land acquisition, these folks contemplate putting up to $3 million into this project. These are significant sums. This will employ the trades. This building they'll be obtaining products from local suppliers. It's probably an 8-month ramp up to develop this building. And so that's something for all of us to consider in Hammond. We're going to, yes, we'll get an enhanced AV out of this from the additional capital investment of this building, but we're going to put folks to work, including the types of folks that could use these good paying jobs now. The operation itself will have 5 full-time positions. And then it's a seasonal business, but it's not just July. They ramp up in May, they ramp up in June, July. Those are big months for them. And they will employ up to, they estimate 67 part-time jobs. And these folks that
Those would be seasonal jobs. They could,
seasonal jobs, yes.
right. Mhm.
Seasonal jobs. And because it is the summer months, oftentimes these jobs are filled by students, filled by teachers, folks who have hours to give during those months. And it's been Phantom's experience that somebody will start out with them in high school, stay with them all the way through college. And in fact, the company itself, even at, I believe at the executive level, if I'm not mistaken, is comprised of folks that started out as seasonal employees. So there's an opportunity here that this development will bring that we ought not lightly consider. And you've heard from Robin telling you about the fact that they are very community oriented, and they will be bringing to you all involvement in the community, involvement in the organizations, providing use of their parking lot, and all sorts of things that are important to our community. This building, and we've given you some specific attributes. It's what's called an H3 building. Basically, this is a building that they intend to develop, and they've given you specs in the material. It has substantial fire suppression and detection systems, and all the discussion that Robin gave about the use of the products and the instruction also references the building itself. There's a lot of care and attention that has gone into developing this building, and it will be fully compliant. It will be required to get approval downstate, and then from the folks here, Mr. Vale, Mr. Pullen plays a role in this process. But this is a building with exacting requirements, and all of those requirements will be met, or this building doesn't go up. That's just how this process works. Okay, now the fun of this all. Usually we like to talk about the other aspects of these development projects in most of the time when I appear before you all. But we have some kind of meat on the bone that we have to get to here. There is an economic development plan for the Woodmar Gateway. And in my materials, I give you a map, a footprint of where the boundaries of that plan, but we're squarely inside of those boundaries. So this was passed back in 2005, December 6th of 2005, the Woodmar gateway economic development area. And it went through an exhaustive process. You know, there's a state statute that gives a lot of definition of how these plans are adopted and what you all do, you all did, or your predecessors did to adopt this way back when. And so we have to show you that we fit within this plan. And I'm going to go through it a little bit here, but I think you'll find absolutely we fit in this plan. And in fact, there's no other there's no other logical conclusion but that we do fit in this plan. The plan sets forth a criteria for economic development within the footprint. Projects have to promote opportunities for gainful employment of citizens. And I've just talked to you. We have, I indicated 5 full-time jobs and up to 67 seasonal jobs projected. And those seasonal jobs fill an important need in the community and give the opportunity for advancement for all kinds of folks. And that is something that is going to be valuable to this community. And if we look at, you know, anything that you might contemplate for any development you might contemplate for this property, aside from the issues we might have with Cabela's or Walmart and not competing with them, you aren't going to find a project that is going to give you more jobs, I don't think, than this job. And we don't have to show you that we are going to give you the most jobs, but we have to show that that is something that a benefit that will be derived. One of the criteria is you're attracting a business enterprise to the development area. This property has sat. It has been sitting for some time and it has not been developed. These folks want to come in. They've already gotten the land and they want to drop $3 million more just to put up the building. And then they want all the sorts of investments by getting jobs. They want to, that'll continue on. They want to join your community organizations. They want to hire landscaping people who are local. So we talk about the people that work in the building, but there's a whole host of other people, all the people that service this building, that, you know, the various trades to keep up the HVAC and all the rest. This is an economic motor, and that's one of the requirements that we meet with this project. Another criteria is expanding a business enterprise existing within the city. Yes, this is the Cabela's Woodmar development, and this is very important to the city. And that's those folks. They have a say in who comes to this property. They have the say in who comes to this property, and they want Phantom. They've made that clear. They're on board with this. Not only do we not compete with them, that's certainly important to them because nobody else is coming in that does offer anything competitive, but they reached out. Hey, we do business with Phantom in other jurisdictions. They are like we are. Cabela's, you know, this, if you notice on the GIS survey that I gave to you, it still showed Cabela's, an affiliate of Cabela's is the owner. To Cabela's, Phantom is similar. They're a destination. They feed off of one another. And so very much this fits within the parameters of the economic development plan. And then we have to show you that this project will benefit public health, safety, morals, and welfare. And you may wonder, hey, why did we spend so much time with Robin giving you all of this safety background? Because this is an important criteria that we need to establish. People have thoughts about what fireworks may entail, and we need to tell you, and I think we have very, very clearly, that this is a safe operation every single level. The economic well-being of the city will be improved. Yes, we're going to put in significant AV value, all the jobs and everything else I've been telling you about. Increased property values. Yes, getting this property into a developed state from the long bare land, vacant state will certainly further the objective of the plan. So those are the requirements that we need to show you. I think that overwhelmingly this project meets and exceeds each one of those. And I think it exceeds beyond any other, I don't know what project anybody has in mind for that piece of property. It hasn't come forth in all of these years. And now that it's here, this one really feeds into each and every one of those criteria. This project serves the intent of the Woodmar development plan. There will be increased commercial and recreational opportunities for citizens. It makes the city more attractive for those considering other retail or commercial service options. This feeds into the folks that come to Phantom will go to the other businesses in the area. They'll stop at the Starbucks. They'll go to Walmart. They'll go to Cabela's. This is completely compatible, and we'll eventually get that Buc-ee's up and running that I talked to you sometime about, but they'll get gas there. So this is going to positively impact the city's quality of life. We are complementary in all aspects to the surrounding retail community. We're looking at, we know the hotels there. This is precisely the type of development we should have for this area. Like I said, this is not a billboard fireworks stand or occupy a vacant building for a month type of business. This is not that model at all. This is something substantial. They've done a lot of work to get to this point. They want to be here. Their customers want this location to be here. They have outgrown their facility in Highland, and they want to be given the opportunity to show you, to show Hammond what all they bring and the economic development that we all are concerned about and why we're all here in this meeting in the very first place. So all of that in mind, I'm going to very, very respectfully ask you for a determination that this proposed Phantom Fireworks Hammond development is fully compliant with and furthers the objectives of the economic development plan for the Woodmar Gateway Economic Development Area. We understand that we're going to need certain approvals from the, for example, a development plan from the Plan Commission. We don't have any desire whatsoever to seek variances from BZA, but we will seek whatever approvals are required. Every permit for building from the state, everything will be, every T will be crossed, every I will be dotted. And these folks, just as they're being as careful and as prudent as they are in presenting to you today, that's how they're going to develop this site. And that's how they're eventually going to operate this business that they've given of themselves substantially to bring to Hammond. So with all that in mind, I'd ask for your favorable determination today. And I apologize for the length of time, but I thought it was important to bring this all to you. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yini. I'm going to turn the meeting over. I'm hoping Brian Poland, I'd like to hear his overview of the project and his recommendation.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. As we know, the property is located in the Woodmar Gateway Economic Development Area. As previously stated, it was created in 2005, which was created as part of the anticipation of how we would convert the former Woodmar Country Club property into a commercial development. It was at the time focused on the Cabela's site. There was a desire to make sure that the development was sensitive to the residential neighborhood to the west, sensitive to the Little Calumet River. The levee project was in its beginning stages, since of course has been completed. which then of course resulted in the property being removed from the floodplain requirements. Some of the general comments or the general goals and objectives of the plan was that it would, any development of this property would serve the local, regional, and transient areas, be functionally and aesthetically consistent with existing land uses and developments in the vicinity. Sorry?
10.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing you. What?
That was background noise, Brian.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you. So in other parts of the plan, it was just like high standards of development and designed to distinguish this area from being unique in its location, and trying to create a new destination area for the city. In my report that you have, there's a list of other goals and objectives that are from the plan. I won't read through them, but I do want to kind of make some points that addresses some of those goals and objectives. I do want you, if for the Redevelopment Commission members, if you have Mr. Yaney's spiral submittal, I want to refer you to a drawing only just to provide you context, and that would give you a basis of where my comments are going. If you look at from the back of the spiral bound, it's at the 11th page from the back. It's designated C1.1. It would be the site plan of the area. I'm not going to go into the details of the site plan. I'm going to look at, I want you to, the purpose of this is for you to look at things in the context of the area. This particular site, located on the southerly side of Cabela Drive, is the last vacant site as far as what has not been approved yet by the Plan Commission. The Plan Commission, it did in its deliberation of all the other projects that have been approved, that have already gone through the same process with the Redevelopment Commission, that part of that main discussion in creating the layout of the area was the ring road, or at least that's how it's designated on the page that I referred to. It is intended to provide a connection, traffic connection from Indianapolis Boulevard all the way to the access road that's on the south side of the Walmart. This was critical because of the nature of Cabela Drive and the curve that occurs, the proximity of the ramp as it comes into Cabela Drive, the southbound ramp from the expressway to Cabela Drive, and its proximity to the traffic signal at Indianapolis Boulevard and Cabela Drive. So in this layout, I'm sorry, what has been approved by the Plan Commission is a automobile fueling station that is right at the southwest corner of Cabela Drive and Indianapolis Boulevard, which is on the east side of this property. The Plan Commission has approved 2 hotels that are on the west side of this property. These are 4-story hotels, a couple of hundred units each. And the Plan Commission has also approved a micro hospital to kind of like the northwest of this site. And that is the one that has been actually completed of the projects. We did see some movement this summer on the gas station, but they're proposing some changes that we didn't take through any processes because we were waiting for some further application information from them, which we did not receive. one of the other important things when it comes to the location is the ability to access the property, not just the ring road that I talked about. It is also the access from the property from Cabela Drive. This went through a lot of scrutiny from NDOT as to how those access points would be allowed to be constructed. The access point that is on the east side of this property, which is actually physically on the gas station property, was restricted by NDOT to be a right in, right out. So the only way to truly get to this property is to go past the Indianapolis Boulevard traffic signal to come in the access road that's on the south side by the levee structure, or to go in on the Walmart access drive, which is on the north side of the hospital, and back through the ring road. And without that ring road being constructed, there isn't really a way to get to this property, even though it may physically touch Cabela Drive, but the traffic access to it has not been constructed yet. We are concerned that with the nature of the facility and the proximity of the hospital, we are concerned that that is at the appropriate location in just just across the parcel line from the hospital. Just because of obviously the nature of the hospital and people who are there for emergency services, as well as other types of services. We are concerned about whether that is the appropriate mix that we want to have in this development. Similarly, we are concerned about the proximity of the fueling station with its, just by the nature of the chemicals, the fuel, et cetera, the volatility of those. We are also concerned because of where the hotels are located. They are back behind all of these developments, having to use this ring road to get access to the main streets. And should something unfortunate happen, would they be able to get out and be in a safe manner in time? The traffic is concerned, potentially that, again, this is kind of similar to some of the comments I've already made, but the traffic that this could be generated for this facility, would people come off the ramp and try to go across Cabela Drive to go in the wrong way, or kind of, try and divert around that the right in, right out, or the curbing that would be there, and sometimes we call that a pork chop. But would there be an encouragement for people to cause a traffic hazard by crossing the boulevard in such a way? If those of you that have been out there, that when Cabela's or the customers coming from Cabela's and Walmart, that the stacking that occurs at the traffic signal does back up west of where that ramp comes in, and that does cause some traffic difficulty in how people want to exit the ramp to get onto Cabela Drive. A lot of when it comes to, again, the location, that one of the attractive nature or features of this property here is the levee project, as well as the recreational trail that is located on top of it, as well as the western connection, or the connection on the west side of the Walmart property that connects to the Erie-Lackawanna trail that goes into downtown Hammond, as well as the connections to the golf course that take this trail to southern parts of the county. And we just wonder if this is the right look, what the impact would be of this facility on the users of that region-wide network would they feel comfortable with that? Will they be able to enjoy fully the facilities that are available that the trail provides? As well as one of the things that we discussed with the hotel developments, we wanted them to make sure that they had access to that trail and work with the Little Calumet River Basin Development Commission to make connection points from the hotel site up the slope of the levee to let their patrons be able to use that trail and perhaps rent bicycles or whatever that would be able to amenities that the hotels would be able to afford. I think it's just more of when we look at this from some of the goals of trying to develop the what is the approach of what the redevelopment commission was trying to do when the plan was created, and is this the type of development that was contemplated in the beginning? Is it the appropriate mix? With does it fit in? Is it appropriate to what has already been approved? Will it have a detriment or a negative effect on the completion of the uncompleted projects? Will it have a negative impact on the property that's to the north of Cabela Drive that we are currently looking at a restaurant user for that location? Does this really lend itself or strengthen the Indianapolis Boulevard corridor that the redevelopment commission's been intended to create with the tools of this redevelopment area, or excuse me, this economic development area? And on the other side of the Indianapolis Boulevard, there's a different redevelopment area. And will this be helpful, or will it lead us to accomplish the goals of those two plans? In summary, I think the commission just needs to consider very carefully what the goals and objectives are of the plan. Does this project comply with those goals? Is it really compatible with the surrounding area as currently developed and proposed to be developed? Is the traffic, is that going to be adequately addressed? How is that going to be the nature of the ring road and the right in, right out turn? How is that going to be affected? And the fact that those access roads haven't been constructed, how is that going to affect the nature of this project? So I just think that overall the redevelopment should consider whether or not that this would be appropriate to determine whether or not it's appropriate that the redevelopment commission determined that this is may not be in compliance with the goals and objectives of the plan.
Mr. Chairman, may I speak to a couple of the matters raised in Mr. Poland's report?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Yaney.
Thank you. First, the traffic access issue and the requirement of Ring Road. The entire development needs Ring Road. How do we get Ring Road constructed? It goes through this property. It goes right next to this property. This property and development of this property serves the construction of Ring Road, which is essential to the entire development, as Mr. Poland pointed out. And the issues we're discussing apply concerning access, apply to Phantom. It applies to whoever might occupy or use that property eventually. And if we don't have somebody there, we haven't had any sale activity on this property for a long time. If that does not occur, does Ring Road occur? It's not there now. I think that's something we ought all ask ourselves. Also, these folks talked about, they're going to have off-duty officers for safety. They also provide traffic in the event that it's ever necessary. And they would work with the city. I don't know, I guess maybe not before you all, because usually I discuss these issues sometimes at BZA, sometimes at Plan Commission, but I have discussed at length, including for the hospital, because I handled that project as well. Access and how do we get it, and how does the flow of traffic go? And we've looked at that very, very carefully. And there's nothing about this project that is going to be any different from any project that will be there. And I know we're not interested in talking about a public taking, but I don't know what you do with this property if nobody can be there. So that's something. I think, Joe, you're on the line. I know we talked about this as an H3 building. And the safety requirements that go, because there was concern about the proximity to the hospital, proximity to the fueling station, and proximity to the hotel. And I take it that Mr. Poland's comments suggested, it wasn't entirely clear to me from the presentation, but I think he was suggesting that there could be an incident in this building where this building there would be an explosion and it could somehow impact the gas station. I mean, the fuel is quite distant from this building. If we look at any footprint, and I'm familiar because I did the Buc-ee's presentation to you all. It's quite, and I was involved with the hospital, and I know what that building looks like and all the safety components of that building. And here again, that's pretty far distant from this building. And the hotels are a whole nother league away. But that for any of us to even think about any of that, even touching their parking lot or their landscaping or anything of the sort, we'd have to have an explosion that would escape this building. Everything I know about an H3 explanation that has been offered to me, that's not going to happen. And perhaps, but Joe can speak to this far better than I can. So maybe Joe, you'd help.
Yes, we fully comply with code, the building code, the fire code, the Indiana Homeland Security. They've already reviewed the project. They've given us approval to move forward with foundations. Generally, any project you can think of, you always have the what ifs come up, and the code takes into account the what ifs and what could happen. And that building is fully code compliant. Our product doesn't explode. It just burns rapidly. With fully compliant fire suppression systems. I assume the fire department would have no issues with it. Again, we're a mile down the road, 13 years. We have a condo complex directly across the street behind us. We've had no issues there. The ring road, that was touched upon. This parcel is a tough parcel. It's a bow-shaped tie, and it was very difficult for anybody to locate on there. That's probably why it's the last parcel left. There's it used to be a floodplain. There's 5 to 6 feet of unstable fill that has to be removed and replaced with stable fill. I mean, this last parcel is, there for a reason, as far as land development. But I mean, we could what if anything to death for a long time, but the code is pretty restrictive and they don't do us any favors. And we've been at this since over a year now. And we've gone through all these items and all these concerns, and we've met the code and put our best foot forward. We've got 80 stores across the country. We take this very seriously. No other fireworks company goes through the protocols that we go through. We're trying to be first rate. A lot of what you see in your community, in our look, we want to give a better impression, than what those guys do and do things a little bit more thoroughly. So again, 80 stores, no issues. We've been by Walmart, Cabela's, Home Depot. The building's fully code compliant. In the case of anything, it would, you would get some burning going on, but you have a fully fire suppression system, sprinkler, fire alarm. That's been determined by the code to take care of our use and what we were putting into the building and how high we are stacking and arranging our building. So, yeah, again, this is, on my part, it's been a tough project to, far as land development with the bow tie and the ring road and the nature of the soils there. And it's very challenging and expensive. And like I said, having 80 stores and being a leader in the industry, we go in with this knowing all the details and fully ready to foot the bill and take on the responsibility.
Hey, Joe, what about the products? Are these products, as I understand, they don't mass detonate, do they? The products you folks sell?
Not at all. The products, it's written right in the code that they're not explosives. We sell a certain brand of consumer fireworks that goes through the Consumer Product Safety Commission testing and laboratories. So they're even more restrictive type of consumer fireworks than anyone else has. So these fireworks have been tested and determined that they just burn rapidly. There's no mass explosion concerns with this product at all. Anything you see, in the news, those are illegal products. Those contain unregulated amounts of gunpowder. That is not what we sell. The reason we're in business and the reason we have a niche in the industry is if you didn't have people doing this safety and selling this safely like we do, you'd have everybody going on YouTube making homemade devices, and that's why our product fills that need. It fills that gap. We provide something that's safe for them to use. If not, they would be going on YouTube and creating homemade devices that cause injuries. So in regards to safety, that's our gap that we fill.
And in fact, Joe, I mean, your products are sold in gas stations, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Correct. There's different items, different levels of what we can do there and what's allowable. But yeah, again, the code's very specific in regards to gas stations and in any other uses that are nearby, propane filling stations, bulk fuel dispensing, and we clearly meet everything.
Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Scott, Joe, and Robin, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. No, thank you for the presentation. I think, yeah, with all the safety measures that you're going to do and all the codes, I don't doubt you. This is well put together. I'm familiar with Phantom Fireworks. I mean, I love fireworks myself. It's just an issue here with the ring road and if this would really fit in this development here. I'm going to turn it over here in a minute to the other commissioners if they have any questions or comments. Yeah, I think it's an excellent product. What Phantom Fireworks sells. It sounds like you've met all the requirements and safety and all that. That's not the whole issue here, but I do want to say I appreciate your presentation today.
Yeah, could I add one more thing though? I mean, the ring road's coming up again, but Cabela's Drive is a 4 or 5 lane highway. I mean, if anything emergencies were to happen, I mean, the highways out there is more than ample to let any kind of emergency vehicles get through. I don't think the ring road is the only way to get in and out of this location.
No, I understand that. And I don't think that's just the only issue. It's also the whole recommendation here and how the other commissioners feel about this project, whether this is a good fit for this type of business in this location. So I'm going to turn it over to them. And you guys talked a while here. I just want to see if they have any comments or questions, and then we can go back maybe one more final time, and then I'll ask Brian Pullen again to speak. Commissioners, does anybody have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. My first question is for Brian. So what's the status of the other projects, the gas stations and other things that have been approved by the planning commission?
Well, as I indicated, there was some movement on the gas station this past summer. They had submitted some information about changing some of the designs of it. Then I gave them a response by saying that they should submit for their permits, and then I have not received anything since then. The hotels, they unfortunately, it has been silent from them for maybe a year or two. Obviously, recently with our current circumstance of 2020, I think hotel development is probably something that's going to be much more challenging at this point in time. But those developments, not to overly keep on focusing on the ring road, but those developments were responsible for constructing their portions of it. And that is the fact that that has not been completed is where it creates this particular parcel as being isolated, because it would not have its own independent curb cut off of Cabela Drive due to the nature of the curve, as well as the traffic concerns from NDOT and our city engineer.
Okay. So, I'm not per se against the project. I don't know if I like the location of the project. That's my issue. I don't have a problem with the fireworks. I'm thinking, because I don't go there all the time, but I go there enough to know, like when I go in and out of Walmart. So if I go to Cabela's, I look at the new hospital, and I'm thinking, do I really want to see a fireworks company there? And I know about the traffic congestions, because where I live in Hammond, sometimes when they have the haunted house that's right there off of River Road, Calumet is just horrible. So those are my concerns. And then I also thought that we discussed one time that we wasn't looking to do any more fireworks in the city of Hammond. So if I'm wrong, someone correct me.
Can I address that?
Yes, go ahead.
You can.
So, Commissioner Myrick, I don't know that I've ever heard that we're not looking to do fireworks in the city of Hammond. And really the question that's germane to this particular topic is, not relative to fireworks stores or the easy for me to say, the abundance of fireworks stores. The question is whether or not this store fits and is compliant with the Woodmar Economic Development Plan. And I did it's a pretty narrow question for a narrow piece of property and a narrow use that is looking to go there, right? That you have to answer. And if you find it compliant, then you vote yes. And if you find it not to be compliant, you vote no. I did have one question for Mr. Yaney, because he brought something up in the initial discussion about the property being a challenge and not being developed for a period of time. And one of the challenges he cited was the restrictive covenants that are on the property. I think everyone remembers that. If not, I took notes. It was a while ago, so I know there's been a lot of discussion since, but I kind of want to go back to that if we can for 1 second. Scott, my understanding is that it was the developer, the initial developer, Cabela's, that put those covenants on the entire development. Is that right?
Yes, and I have the document here. There was an amendment when Walmart came in. And specifically, the document it was filed December 2nd of 2013. And the title of the document is Easement with Covenants and Restrictions Affecting Land, the ECR. We had this come up, or these covenants come up in the context of some of the other sites that were developed. And I referenced the restricted uses for this property. If we look at, kind of scrolling through, I could share this.
Yeah, I don't know that that's necessary, Scott. Really, where I was going with that was the fact that the developer, the main developer, Cabela's, has had a difficult time selling this property. Part of that is because they voluntarily and they alone restricted who they would sell to. So it's nothing that the city's done or the commission's done or anything like that that has done anything to stop Cabela's from selling the property to whomever. It's the fact that Cabela's, and then as part of their deal with Walmart, and I've seen this in other Walmart developments where they don't want certain amount of or certain types of stores going next door to them, but it's something that's a deal they cut with Walmart, and it's a deal that they voluntarily went into. So I don't know that in this case the petitioner can use the restrictive covenant as evidence. I mean, quite frankly, had there not been a restrictive covenant, there may have been all kinds of other users that are restricted by the covenant, if that makes sense.
I understand what you're saying, David, but it's a covenant that runs with the land. And we all know we all know in this setting, what it took to get Cabela's to Hammond. That was not a light undertaking, and they do not come without this type of a covenant. And likewise, Walmart was the next big anchor over there. They don't come without a covenant. And it's no longer up to simply Walmart or Cabela's to change these covenants. Now everybody who owns property in that entire footprint needs to sign off. And it's not a small list of these restrictive covenants. It's section 2.2. And I just scanned and kept rolling, and in all the ones that we've mentioned and any more, it goes up to 23. And the big overall catch-all is you can't compete with Walmart and you can't compete with Cabela's. And yes, but even aside from that, I understand what you're saying, but these folks were approved by Cabela's to come in. We fit the zoning ordinance. The only thing I kind of hear as a common unifying thread right now is, hey, this ring road and that access, I don't put a pet store there. And by the way, you can't, just reading the restrictive covenants, it's going to be the same issue. You try to put a restaurant there. And there are restrictions here. Item number 16 on the type of a restaurant that can go in there. So there are any number of things, but anything you put there is going to have an access issue. I know the access issue because you all asked me to tell you where, or give my folks' opinion from the hospital of where a billboard could go, and we're worried about it potentially distracting drivers. And so we moved the location of that monument sign. I went out there. I stood out there. I counted cars. I watched them come across, come around the corner and gain access and how they went. And it is a highway. It is a 4-lane highway, and traffic moves. And when I went out there at low times, I went out there at times when that Walmart store is as busy as it gets and Cabela's as busy as it gets. And traffic, at least on Cabela's Drive, flows. It absolutely flows. The traffic lights are well synchronized in that area. There are access lanes that allow the traffic to queue on back to the Borman and coming south. And when we add Ring Road, which can only be added if we develop property, not take a big chunk out of it and say you can never develop it, the access will be even better to all of these sites. And in fact, we're going to need it for the hotels and everything else that's coming in, I would suggest.
Yeah, I would just like to add, where our property frontage abuts Cabela Drive, it is 6 lanes wide. There's 6 lanes of traffic where our property frontage abuts Cabela Drive. So just wanted to add that.
If I may, I don't think we should overemphasize or perhaps underemphasize the ring road. It is a significant issue. But the other points that were being addressed is that there is a traffic congestion issue here. It may, and even the reference that was just made by, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that name, Mr. Corduple.
Yes.
It is an issue with the width of the multiple lanes that are on Cabela Drive as it comes onto the curve, which is where this property is. And that is where when I am out there and I'm looking at the traffic volume, I would see that as a planner, if there's too many curb cuts there, that it would be a traffic danger. And my evidence of supporting that is where NDOT said, you know, they only want a right in, right out as its proximity to where the ramp comes in. But it is not just the ring road or the absence thereof. It is the overall traffic congestion issues. It is ultimately in a more summarial standpoint of looking at it. Is this the appropriate mix? Is this the appropriate location for this use in proximity to a hospital, to hotels, and a gas station?
I mean, I'd like to add we're a seasonal company, and you know, traffic would only be, you know, peaked at certain months, but so that's only, I'd like to add that.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Any other commissioners? Any other questions or discussion?
My computer shut off for a while, but I'm back now.
Okay, well, you have any questions or concerns, or you know, anything you want to address the Phantom Fireworks team here, or Mr. Polon?
I have nothing further.
Pretty extensive analysis on both sides. I thank everybody.
Okay. Attorney Westland, this has been the most lengthy discussion I've had since I've been on the board, but it's like I said, both sides have really given a good overall presentation and explanation on this project. I guess if nobody has anything else, is there any, like I said, any final comments then?
You know, I'd like to add one more thing. I think, you know, zoning takes into account what you'd like in a certain area and what you don't like. And the zoning for this property, it's zoned properly for our use. So.
I'd like to make a comment also. As a former director of real estate for the Kroger Food Company, and having dealings with retail for the last 40 years, my impressions of the Walmart, keep in mind that the average Walmart supercenter does about $80 million a year in sales. Divided by an average cost purchase of $40, you can come up with 2 million transactions per year, divided by 52 weeks, et cetera, going into by days. That's significant traffic right there. And our particular property, if it were for fast food would generate more traffic than what we do, because we have 3 seasons a year. And so most of our traffic will be at Christmas, time, New Year's in July, Memorial Day, and that's where your traffic's going to be. So I would suggest very carefully that we're not a traffic generator. What we are convenient to travelers and to families. And I would like to have you take that into consideration also. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Attorney Westland?
Yes.
Like I said, it's been a very long discussion, but a very good one on both sides here. Does somebody need to, do we need to make a decision tonight? And if so, then should the determination be either that it's not in compliance or we are going to agree? I want to make sure they make that motion either way correctly.
So, all right, so there's a couple of, I'm gonna take each question one by one. First question is could you move to table this item or defer it to the next meeting? The answer to that legally is yes. I don't know what further information you'd be looking for in order to do that, because as you've pointed out, and a couple other commission members have pointed out, it's a pretty lengthy presentation. Mr. Yaney has given us quite a bit of information here and done a nice job with laying it out. And this is probably the longest staff report I've ever seen from Brian, which is saying something because his staff reports are normally not brief. So very thorough on all sides. So I'm not sure what you would need or what, you know, what additional information you need to defer it, but certainly that's an option.
I wouldn't need personally. I just wanted to just ask that, but you clarified that, but continue.
So, but if, you know, you're just not ready to make a decision, then legally, certainly it could be deferred. Second question you asked is what kind of is at issue, and it would be one of two motions if you're not going to defer it. First motion would be a motion to determine that the Phantom Fireworks showroom at 7944 Cabela Drive is in compliance with the economic development plan for the Woodmar Gateway Economic Development Area. That's one motion. Another motion would be to determine, move to determine that the Phantom Fireworks showroom at 7944 Cabela Drive is not in compliance with the economic development plan for the Woodmar Gateway Economic Development Area. So 3 choices: defer or one of those two.
Thank you. I just wanted that for clarification. I was pretty sure on the first one, and I just wanted to make sure whatever motion we decide tonight is, you know, said correctly.
Mr. President, I'll go first. As per the analysis of the city planning department, I would determine that we are not in compliance with the goals and objectives of the Woodmar Gateway Economic Development Plan. I so move.
Second.
Okay, there is a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call on that, please?
Oh, you know what? I don't see Karen on the screen.
She's here. She's muted right now.
Oh, okay.
All right, there is a
I'm
motion.
unmuted. I'm muted. Sorry, it took me a second to unmute me. Okay, Myrick,
Yes.
Soto Presley. I thought
Yeah.
I saw Myrick.
Yes.
Okay. Casper Zicki,
Yes.
Myrick,
Yes.
Halpridge.
Yes. Motion passes with 5 yes to not be in compliance to the Woodmar Gateway Economic Development Plan.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you, folks.
All right, thank you. All righty, let's move along then. Number 7's authorization to advertise for CDBG home, CHDO, which is Chodo, and ESG funding for fiscal year 2021 and 2022.
I so move.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call on that then, please?
Merrick,
yes.
Soto Presley,
yes,
Kasperziki,
Yes,
Myrick,
Yes.
Helpridge,
Yes. Motion passes 5 yes. Number 8 is authorization to advertise for RFQ for professional services, which are the appraisers, attorney, environmental consultants, financial consultants, housing services, IDIS, and HUD consultant.
Mr. President, I make a motion for the approval for the authorization to advertise an RFQ for professional service for the appraisers, attorneys, environmental consultants, financial consultants, housing services, IDIS, and HUD consultant.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further questions or discussion, roll call then, please.
Merrick,
Yes.
Soto Presley, Soto Presley,
Yes,
Kasperziki,
yes,
Myrick,
Yes.
Helpridge,
Yes, motion passes 5 yes. Okay, number 9 is approval for the rain date for the pop-up art exhibit in downtown Hammond.
how do they know it's gonna rain on the 10th?
oh my God.
It's not supposed to.
Somebody must have looked at the farmer's almanac. I don't.
They do not know, but they just wanted this as a backup plan so that if it does rain, we are expecting it to be sunny, but if it does rain, they thought it would be a safe, to be on the safe side to get a rain date.
Okay, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for the approval for the rain date for the pop-up art exhibit in downtown Hammond.
I
Second.
second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. That's for the approval of the rain date for the pop-up art exhibit in downtown Hammond. Can we get a roll call, please?
Merrick,
Yes.
Soto Presley,
Yes,
Kasperziki,
Yes,
Myrick,
Yes.
Helpridge,
Yes, motion passes 5 yes. All right, number 10's our reports. Ms. Katarva.
None at this time.
Okay. Thank you. And that brings us to number 11, our bills register of claims.
Mr. President and Commission, I'd like to make a motion to pay the Register of Claims for September 11th, 2020 through October 1st, 2020 for Register of Claims R59071 through R59147.
Commissioner
we added,
Presley, there's been an add-on. I don't know if you had access to your email today.
Okay, no, I don't think I did then, because I
Yeah.
left, I'm at home.
Yeah, no problem. It's does anybody else have that so she can just,
Yes.
they can make the motion? There's September 11th through October 5th and the claim numbers with the revised edition that was sent.
Mr. President, I make a motion to accept the Register of Claims dated 9/11/20 and ending with claims 10/5/20, claim number R59071 through R59150.
I second that.
All right, thank you. That is a motion and a second. That's for the Register of Claims dating September 11th, 2020 through October 5th, 2020. That is claim R59071 through claim R59150. Is there any questions?
No, thank you,
Staff on
Commissioner
these claims?
Navas. Commissioner,
welcome.
Bear- thank you.
All right. Thank you for the revised edition. They seem to be all in order. If there's no questions, let's have a roll call on the claims.
Merrick,
Yes,
Soto Presley,
Yes,
Casper Zicky,
Yes,
Myrick,
Yes.
Helpridge,
Yes, motion passes 5 yes. All right, number 12's new and unfinished business.
None at this time.
Okay. Brings us to number 13. Public comment is open. If anybody like to speak, you have 3 minutes. Public comment is open now. Okay, public comment closed. Number 14.
Mr. President, I make a motion to adjourn.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Can you all signify by
Aye.
ayes have it? Meeting is adjourned.
Good night, everyone. Be
Good
safe.
night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.